It has been a year since the wind of change swept across public establishments in the country. At the office of the Presidential Amnesty Program, the change process began with President Muhammadu Buhari's appointment of Brigadier General Paul Terela Boro as leader and chaperone. The special advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program has a Herculean but achievable task. He has the duty to ensure the success of the President's commitment to deliver change and ensure progress in the Niger Delta. This would require the consolidation of activities within the amnesty program to improve on the gains of peace, stability, and human capacity development in the region.
The fact that I'm recognized to make a difference in the new appointment given to me is a revelation that the President had confidence in me. Bringing it to bear on the amnesty program. The program is on course and a lot has been achieved within this short period that I took over.
It is imperative to build and energize a work environment that aligns with the task at hand. Here, the leadership realizes the imperatives for a focused and committed staff to boost service delivery. Administering a motivated workforce has a multiplier effect on productivity. The last 1 year, the Presidential Amnesty Office has demonstrated how success can be fought for and achieved even when the odds are many and the challenge is tedious.
The first thing that I did when I took over was to establish a biometric investigation about the program. And immediately thereafter, I started ensuring that the tension caused before my appointment was now adequately resolved. That tension was due to delay in payment of stipends and tuition fees of the students, as well as amounts owed to vendors due to the fact that they've carried out some services and then they would have been paid. So I ensured that a verification exercise was conducted to ascertain credibility and sustainability. So I went ahead to make such payments.
By laying a solid foundation, the stage was set for real progress. First was the rather unexpected but gracious gesture by President Muhammadu Buhari extending the amnesty program beyond the initial timeline of December 2015. But then, perhaps, the more conspicuous achievement of the Presidential Amnesty Office in the last year lie in its reintegration drive.
I'm happy to say that well over 50% of the persons that are captured in the program have been reintegrated in terms of capacity building, in terms of skills and acquisition programs, as well as stabilization. Stabilization, I think, is the key, because since I took over, I'm bold to say that the ex-agitators have not taken it upon themselves to prevent social and economic life disrupt in the entire Niger Delta.
The records reflect the changes and showcase a commitment by the federal government to cater for the ex-agitators that have renounced violence by empowering them to regenerate the Niger Delta region economically and socially. Of the 30,000 delegates captured in the program, over 17,000 have been successfully trained. 13,498 were trained in various vocational fields, Another 1,177 delegates involved in the educational training scheme have graduated from distinguished tertiary institutions, both in Nigeria and abroad. There are currently 785 delegates undergoing vocational training and 2,872 delegates in various universities onshore and offshore. The delegates are all drawn from the 9 states of the Niger Delta, and the trainings, whether in education or vocation, span a spectrum of specialized fields. These fields have direct bearing on development in the Niger Delta, and the idea is to boost the region's chances of domesticating specialized skilled labor.
Right now we have delegates who you may even be surprised if we introduce some to you that this is a delegate. They are as humble as any other person can be now. Some of them have achieved educational levels which they never ever dreamt of. We have people, some delegates doing master's programs locally and overseas. We have graduates with first degrees. We have delegates who are undergoing skill acquisition training and so on. So when you look at the sum total of this, you realize delegates have been lifted from where they were to a pedestal which far outweighs the path they have trodden in the past.
I know of delegates that have been trained in piloting in the field of aviation, as well as aircraft engineers. Those are also learned catering, because they're also in that field. They're also doing a lot, so many other fields of endeavor. We have beneficiaries of this program. In fact, the amnesty program is a stabilizing force in Niger Delta.
The Presidential Amnesty team has worked tirelessly to ensure that more of the trained delegates are reintegrated into civil life presently and contributing meaningfully to society. In the last year, under Brigadier General Paul Boro as coordinator, a total of 1,077 delegates were empowered to start small businesses. The ultimate agenda is to grow a large population of skilled youth and entrepreneurs with capacity to redress the development challenges in the Niger Delta.
What's up? How you doing? My name is John Paul from Cross River. Yeah, my training actually started from 2012. Initially, I went to Royal Jordanian Air Academy in Jordan, and from there, I proceeded to Casa Aero in Casablanca for my type rating in the Boeing 737 Classic. So right now, I'm done, and as you can see, I'm employed as the first officer in this airline. I thank the federal government of Nigeria for giving us this opportunity to actually see our dreams come true.
I actually got a phone call from the head of training of Royal Emirate, recommending him personally. He actually called me on his own personal phone, and he got very good results, did very well. The line training, well, like most of our co-pilots straight out of school, is a bit up and down, but at the end of the day, he pulled through, and now he's an asset to the airline.
It is expected that the skills they've learned will make them add value to the environment where they come from. This is the bottom line of the amnesty program. That is the mandate of the amnesty program, to ensure that 30,000 ex-agitators that are captured in the program are given different skills and empowered so that they can reintegrate the program.
One area that has remained of utmost importance to the Amnesty Office is agriculture.
General Boro introduced new programs in the office, and especially most important here is the agriculture program. He's someone who has passion for agriculture, and he believes strongly that agriculture can sustain the region and sustain the entire country. So he is practically moving the beneficiaries from a mindset on acquiring training on oil and gas. Now he's moving them towards agriculture sector for them to acquire skills in the agri sector. And he also doing that by also liaising, especially with the Minister of Agriculture and some other agencies to drive his very strong belief in the agri sector.
Almost every avenue that I have to speak, I mention this agriculture as a way of transforming the lives of beneficiaries of the amnesty program. And the program, the office rather, is in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture to revamp the Paramabri rice farm in Bayelsa State. In fact, the minister mentioned that Chinese persons, people who are good in agriculture, have been contacted to come and help in revamping the farm. It will create a huge space for employment and to capture food security in Bayelsa State alone.
Emmanuel Onoyo Akore typifies the success of the program's reintegration component.
Fingerlings, juveniles, hetero, clearance, and hybrid catfish. We even stock tilapia and other species of fish.
The ex-agitator has come quite far since the early days of the program and is living his dream of being a fish farmer, courtesy of the skills acquisition training of the Presidential Amnesty Program.
I've always said, okay, after God na government don't do for me too, but make them do for others. So that if most of the ex-militants are like what you're seeing today, there will not be Niger Delta Avengers. Who won't call me, make I go creek now, go full and do it now. Go follow you carry with gun. When I don't feed them finish.
Today, Emmanuel has 2 fish farms in Ughelli, Delta State, both operational and profitable. In nearby Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, another beneficiary of the program, is doing well. Nani Ruben makes beads and fashion accessories, skills she acquired from her vocational training facilitated by the Amnesty Office for the class of delegates drawn from violent impacted areas of the Niger Delta.
And the difference is already showing. So if it is sustained, I know that it will make a lot of difference to the young people, and not just the young, to everybody. I've learned, so it's right for me to also teach others. I've taught one person, I've trained one person, and I'm looking forward to train more to empower others also.
There are hundreds of beneficiaries across the Niger Delta whose lives have changed, courtesy of the skill acquisition component of the Amnesty Program.
I'm proud to say I'm one of them. I got the opportunity and I'm maxing it because, as a matter of fact, that's what's putting food on my table right now. So it's a great opportunity for me to be a beneficiary of this program.
One thread binds these delegates together.
I will start by talking about my MSc program in the UK, Oxford Brookes University. I actually studied international management and international relations, and the Presidential Amnesty Program made that possible for me. Getting a distinction in international management and relations in the UK, it's not an easy task, but it's something anyone can achieve, even as I have achieved it. And I believe with strong determination and with God on your side, you can be able to, anybody can achieve utmost success in whatever you put your mind to do.
My name is Maxine Dakoro. I'm from Kola Town in Akokotoru local government area, Rivers State. I was into bunkering, pipeline vandalization. I did a lot of things. Amnesty came and I embraced Amnesty. Under this program, I studied in Limpopo University. I got my A level, which is Foundation in Information and Communication Technology. And I also got my BSc under this same program. I'm not the only changed person. It changed a lot of youths, not just me. So once again, I would like to thank the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the continuation of the program.
As the story changes for more of the delegates and life gets better, attention is gradually shifting to those who are yet to be trained under the program. The figure currently stands at 11,768, and the prospect for their training is now much better than before. Arrangements are in place to expedite the training and subsequent empowerment of these delegates using certified skill centers across the country. Most of the centers have partnered with the federal government in several successful skills empowerment initiatives.
Great. So we start.
The centers are usually equipped to help the Amnesty delegates build their self-esteem, embrace learning, and develop capacity in vocations that are economically viable.
In terms of addressing human capacity development, it's a fantastic project. When these young people put to test, or to use rather, because we've been testing, if they put to use what they have learned and the experiences that they have gathered in the process of learning, we will build not just a better region, but a better country, because more people would be supportive of the system. Because what you need is the strength of citizenship.
There is the expectation of ripple effect. Once a delegate acquires capacity, the chance of economic independence for that delegate gets better, and the more delegates, the better for the Niger Delta region. To help make the chances for the trained delegates even brighter, the Amnesty Office is strengthening its empowerment drive. Under Brigadier General Paul Boro, empowerment of trained delegates has been fused into the core of the reintegration component of the program. Empowerment is now closely linked to the exit strategy evolved by the Amnesty Office to eventually end the program. This means that delegates already trained and empowered by the office with startup kits are subsequently monitored and then gradually eased out once their businesses take off. A total of 2,987 delegates have so far exited the program, and many more would soon follow. It is expected that the exit strategy will invariably help cut down the overhead cost for payment of stipends and allowances to delegates and reduce the financial burden on government. Balancing priorities and prudent management of finances have become inevitable, particularly as Nigeria strives to overcome a lingering cash crunch.
In view of our financial constraint, we now reviewed that no, anybody who is in school should only benefit from his school allowances, but he or she should not also come and take stipend. So you can see that is another area you can block leakages, because from that program, that system alone, we were able to make some savings.
This becomes even more necessary considering that the Amnesty Office is contending with a slash in budget size.
Even though we made case to the federal government to look at the situation of Amnesty Office and then review our budget by means of supplementary appropriation. Nobody can accuse the office now of any misdemeanor, of any misdoing or any misgiving in terms of financial management of the Amnesty program. So based on this, I think not even 80%, you can give it 95%, because you don't have any room to be non-transparent. You just have to be transparent because the system itself requires you to be.
The balancing act lies in the judicious use of available funds. As a matter of fact, the office is mandated to meet its core responsibilities and is even required to prepare for exigencies as well. A case in point is a renewed militancy in the Niger Delta and the stakeholder community-based response approach adopted by Brigadier General Paul Boro. The traditional institution is at the core of this strategy. It is essentially an advocacy for communities to embrace government's peace efforts and take ownership of the campaign against militancy, cultism, and pipeline vandalism.
If you look at a boy who is working, or if you see a boy who is working, gainfully employed, and you tell him, say, come, let us go and bust pipeline. No, what time have I for that? Waiting. Now me go for that type of work. No, I'm not going to do that. He will not go to do that. So if you employ them, if you make them to have a sense of belonging, that this oil that they are, or the pipeline and so forth, this oil comes from their own land, it's their own. And therefore, they will, how many times do you see a normal human being destroying part of his body? If this oil, if these people are made to be owners of what they have, they will not go to destroy it, either partially or whatever way you put it.
It affects the environment where they come from. It affects the entire economic life of that environment, as well as particularly the economy of the country. They also need money to carry out their day-to-day activities. Yet they are engaged in the act of pipeline vandalism and attacks. It affects virtually every advancement of the country. That is the aspect that concerns me and that I'm discouraged about. But I'm happy again to say that amnesty beneficiaries have dissociated themselves, especially their leaders, have dissociated themselves from this act, and they feel bad that it is happening. They wish that they're on standby to support the security agencies to fish out the perpetrators so that they can be brought up for justice. That is their stance, and that is the stand of the office, that the Amnesty Office will work in collaboration with the security offices, with the security agencies, to fish out perpetrators of the pipeline vandalism so that they can be brought up for justice.
Oh yes, my people, they not they take life, take they find waiting they handle. My country people, make we support government to develop Niger Delta. We will come out our hand from pipeline vandalism, kidnapping, cultism, and other wuru things when they give Niger Delta bad name.
The peace campaign of the Presidential Amnesty Office is hinged on a multi-track approach and often associated in the resolution of resource-based conflict. This, in essence, means a confluence of stakeholders from the Niger Delta with a common interest and goal to clinch peace, sustain development, and drive positive change. The Amnesty Office is the vehicle, and Brigadier General Paul Boro and his team are the drivers.
General Boro brought in technocrats and experts on DDR programs from different parts of the world to help drive the program. And so far, this has been very, very successful.
It is the belief of the present administration that where peace reigns, real progress can be achieved.
I'm very confident that Mr. President means well for Niger Delta. And that's why on the 2nd of June, he ensured the flag off or launching of the cleanup exercise. The President is highly committed to ensuring that Niger Delta is well developed, and by so doing, there will be stability in the region. He ensured sustainability of the program. He also ensured that the rail line from Calabar to Lagos is included in this year's budget so that we can start off. When that starts, they will to create a lot of space for employment. The President is very concerned about what is happening in Niger Delta. His own wish is that this problem is sorted out once and for all so that there will be stability in the region, and then the economy of the country will pick up, and then they will move on as expected to meet up the developmental plans and programs of the country.
But achieving change and progress is not a one-sided venture. Indeed, true peace and progress is a collective responsibility, one that must be embraced by all concerned.